think that they do that type of behavior.
They weren't expecting it, and they were just kind of startled. And I think that's how we all were.
There's a hole there with the stick still in it. And, the end of the stick's all dirty from digging the hole.
They have taught me. This is what my experiences have been. I don't get my information because I read it in a book or I saw it online. This is my life.
I think there's various reasons for that. I believe that, those are the raw materials they have.
Happy Tuesday evening, everybody, and welcome to the Non-Boss Continuum. I'm still a little embarrassed about my short that I put up. I know some of y'all have seen it where I busted my you-know-what. Well, I can't really say I busted my you-know-what because I really didn't. But you know what? I thought about it and I knew that footage existed. But I wasn't sure if I really wanted to put it out there. But you know what, guys? I put it out there because it's real and that's real life. And when you're hiking, good reason, and I talk about it all the time on my show, make sure that you don't hike alone. So, and also too, if you're kind of my age, old as dirt, when you're going out with those next gen guys, all them younger guys, don't forget your hiking boots. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't try to go hiking in tennis shoes like I did and get your shoelaces caught on a branch and then go face forward. But I'm glad. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's pretty funny. But you know what? I got back up and just kept going. I kept going. I didn't get hurt. I was totally fine. And what an awesome day it was. And I was so glad that I finished that hike. I was huffing and puffing at the very end of it because it was an incline all the way back up, but I still had a blast with those guys. I had a really good time. So, hey guys, I just want to really quick, I want to say hi to everybody. Thank you guys for all being here. Let's kind of do a little roll call a little bit. Miss Judy Wheeler, how are you? And Gary, Chiro Sounds. We finally got a date for Chiro to come on. She's gonna talk all about. We're gonna talk about like Tibetan singing bowls and the healing benefits of using them to help heal our bodies with the tones and the vibrations. So that's gonna be a really awesome show. And that's going to be towards the end of April. I think it's the first week of May, I think maybe. So, yeah, make sure you guys keep a lookout for that show because that is going to be a really interesting show. It's going to be a lot of really good information. Francesca, hi. Oh my goodness, I haven't seen you in a while, honey. I hope you're doing well. Hi, Jean. Hope you're doing well. Val, how are you? Let's see who else. Miss Sandra Piper, how are you, honey? Anybody? I missed somebody, I think. Oh, is it Macaw 89? Thank you for coming. I think you've been here a couple of times, and thank you for coming and being here. I love it when you guys are here and we just have such a great time. C. Campbell, thank you for also joining us. Ryan, Monster Radio, how are you? Good to see you here too, honey. So tonight I have a special guest, a man that I love to death. And I'm going to tell you the biggest reason. I mean, he's lovable. We all know he's lovable. But the one thing that I love so much about him, positivity, right? We've been talking a lot on my channel about positivity, and that's all I've been posting on my Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube community page, positivity, right? Bringing positivity back into this community, back into our lives so that we can think about things in a positive way and we can live our lives in a positive way so that we can then show the positivity and share the positivity to everyone around us. So, this lovely gentleman, Mr. Brown Dwarf, everybody, please give him a warm welcome, Mr. Positivity. How are you? Oh, I can't hear you. You're
Boom,
muted.
here we go. Greetings and salutations. Thank you, Nona Boss, for that intro. I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing.
He-
I mean,
Hey, well, here we are. And
we're
thank
here.
you for the invite.
Thank
Yeah,
you
no,
for
what an
being here.
intro. And yeah, it's a thing right now for me. It's like the vibes, feeling the vibes. Everyone's talking in my world, a lot of people are talking about this and getting into this I don't know, this new vibe that we're in. I don't know. I feel it. I feel like
Mhm.
there's a lot of negativity going on, but it's always been like that, right? The duality of this reality, I
True.
guess. You get the black and the white, the yin and the yang. But
Yep.
but yeah, no, I just feel like I'm feeling things more lately. And I'm seeing things differently, and
Mhm.
just perspective and feeling things out. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's not cool, and then a lot of things that are cool. And yeah, just diving into the cool stuff. It's been wonderful. And I'll mention off the bat, I've been going through some things in my life as of late that were pretty gnarly. Some pretty dark moments, and we get that.
Mhm.
Everyone I talk to has their moments, right? Your ups and
Yep.
downs, and the ins and outs, and the good and bad times. And but yeah, no, I hit some really dark moments, and had to do a lot of reflecting, and a lot of things were happening in my life that weren't positive, and I had to take a pause and really assess things, and remember things that helped me get to where I was.
Mhm.
And so yeah, diving back into doing, I guess, what they call shadow work, or doing that inner
Yep.
work and stuff. And it was stuff that I had known about, meditation and just certain things, prayer as
Mhm.
well. I do believe in God, and everyone has their beliefs in what God is, or may not believe in a God as well. And I'm all for everyone doing
Yep.
their thing and being happy, and
Yep.
yeah, and of course each one teach one, and I love learning from people and stuff. And so yeah, diving back all into this uh I guess, I don't know, some people call it spirituality, or I don't know, there's different terms out there, but
That's
man,
true.
it's
That's true. There are
what's
there
that?
are so many there that's so true. There are so many different terms for what is kind of everybody kind of going through, and like, is it spirituality, and is it faith, and is it this, is it that, is it whatever? But you know what? The way I look at it, and I know the way you look at it the same way, doesn't matter what anybody truly believes, we are all of the human race, and we can be positive. It's a choice. It's a choice
Yes.
to be positive and to bring positivity and to spread positivity.
Oh yeah,
And, like, that's what we got to do. And then learn during the process. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
and
Yeah.
we learn from each other, right? There is no handbook to Sasquatch or Dog Man or aliens or interdimensional beings or spirituality or meditate. There's no real guide. So we
Hmm.
gotta learn from each other, and when we kinda all bring it all to the table and be like, "Hey, you know what? I was having that same problem, and this is what I did. It worked for me." You know? Everybody needs to share that kinda thing, you know what I mean? Even when
Definitely.
it comes to research, it's the same thing we should be sharing, you know?
For sure. And yeah, I was gonna think of something. You had me thinking of something, but yeah,
Don't worry.
definitely. And I think it's time to, for me. I feel like it's so many things have been happening that have been like alerting me, like, hey, like so many signs, and it's like I can't ignore them, And it's like, yeah, you gotta
Mhm.
pay attention to these signs. And it's funny how this call it the universe, or this realm, this reality works. It's really funny at times how things manifest, and how
Yeah.
things will guide you certain ways, and sometimes it's the right way, and sometimes it's not, and then you bump yourself and you figure out your right path, or some people don't, and unfortunately don't make it, or go through some heavy stuff, and yeah, so all this ties in together. You know, people talk about everything being connected, and I see so many things that I've been able to connect that could tie back to, you know, the topics that we're into, or just things in my personal life.
Mhm.
And it's awesome just to see, and being able to share this also, because we're co-creating, we're coexisting with each
Right.
other. And yeah, having this technology, being able to do this here, and it is just really an awesome time. And yeah, so why not take advantage of that, and then see how far we could take it, you know? And I feel like, yeah, we're going somewhere. We're definitely going somewhere. Some of us may feel a little stagnant and stuck or something like that, but I feel, you know, we're going to some places, and it's super exciting, super exciting. And yeah.
It is, it's really exciting. I mean, we really are in a I kind of feel like we're on the cusp of something. I don't know what that something is, but it's like I feel like we're right at the edge of it. Like we're right there. And we just
Yes.
gotta keep pushing and just keep moving forward and moving forward, you
Uh-huh.
know? And with our research, some of us are researchers, some of us, some of us aren't. Some of us love this just for the entertainment, and that's okay too. That's okay
Awesome.
too,
Hmm.
because some of us, that's kind of how, I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but that's how I learn a lot. I mean, I'm always trying to find another show or another channel that I can learn something from. And I and I
Definitely.
I think there's so many that we have to choose from. It's like it's just like you know what I mean? There's hundreds, and it's like
Yes.
we can always find something to learn about ourselves and about the world. And it's exciting. I think we're living in a really exciting time, actually.
For sure. And yeah, speaking of like the variety, yeah. So like even within, you know, like you're speaking channels, it's just the variety that we have of everything. I mean, it's just, and so we could, you said earlier, we have choices, you know, we could make
Mhm,
choices, and it didn't, so it brings me to being like more conscious about my choices, what I do
mhm.
and what I say. And so like, yeah, even going to some of the videos, like jumping over to TikTok, you know, I'm kind of new to that, and you know, been doing some stuff over there, and a lot of this topic is it's pretty dark, you know.
Yeah,
But like we said, it's we're in a world of duality, so there's got to be a light side to this too. And so I
absolutely.
want to really tap into that as well, because it's necessary. And also, yeah, a lot of the negativity that's being pushed out, because even like in videos, a lot of it's like scary,
Mhm.
and just like you could say low vibration.
Yes, low vi
um you
yes,
know, and
low
even the
vibration.
topics, you know, the dog man, to me the dog man seems very almost even satanic, even
It's
sometimes,
a
you know, I
little
question it.
scary, dog man,
Yeah,
yeah.
and even this, the Sasquatch, people have you know, tied it to possible, like, you know, uh
Mhm.
satanic stuff, and but then there's the opposite side. You hear the you know,
Yeah.
complete opposite of that as well. So for me, it's like, yeah, I want to find out. I'm curious about it too, so I have to
Mhm,
beware, you know, because if it is something demonic or evil, you know, you got to be very
mhm,
careful with that. And there's many other things out there as well, you know, besides cryptids or entities. There
mhm,
is, you know, entities, spirits, and stuff like that that we're dealing with, that a lot of people aren't aware of also.
mhm,
And it's something that I've been taking note of, and I've always been interested in too. And I don't hit the, like, the paranormal stuff too hard, although I do feel the Sasquatch topic has a lot of paranormal aspects to it. um and so yeah, so I'm just very aware. So for me, when I want to point out that, you know, yeah, our creator, my creator, comes first. And then through there, you know, I could do explore and dive into everything else, you know. So
mhm.
and I recommend that for people too, you know,
Yeah,
who are spiritually awakened and aware. Yeah, you know, you got to dive into this stuff and be careful on how much and what you're consuming, even online,
true.
and then whatever books and other sources, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, finding out how to balance this stuff, I've been, you know, working with that too. And I've mentioned also, and I've heard other people mention about how this topic could even kind of cause disruption at home, at home,
Mhm.
relationships, with the spouse or whatever, or even within friends and stuff like that. So you got to be really careful with all this as well, and but
You
I
gotta
love it. I love diving into all this. I soak in it, and
Yeah,
but
I think you're 100% right. I agree with you. I think that what maybe some of us are lacking is getting grounded and finding something to ground yourself with. Whether that's your faith, whether that's, just going on a hike every week, for an hour, just getting out in the woods or going to the beach or getting in the ocean or, whatever. I think that somebody needs to kind of maybe have a channel that we could all, they could create and we can give us all these ideas to help us stay grounded. Because I really feel like it's super important. Whatever it is your tool is that you feel comfortable with using, but keeps you grounded in this reality. Because it's really easy to get very like into here and into that and into this and into that, and it just kind of it actually overwhelms you, and you're so overwhelmed with so many things, and it's almost as if there's so much to choose from. You don't know where to start, and
oh
you
yeah.
don't know when to lay it down.
Oh yeah.
That happened to me. That has happened to me. It really
Oh
has.
yeah.
There have been plenty of times when I'm on YouTube 24/7, and I don't know, probably about, I would say 4 months ago, I was sick over the holidays, and I wasn't feeling well, and I was kinda like, and it was like, all I did was lay in bed. All I could do was lay in bed, and it was like, all I did was I realized, I'm like, "Oh my god, I am on YouTube 24/7. This isn't healthy. This is not healthy."
Right. Well, yeah, well, and depending what you're doing and what you're watching, what you're consuming,
Yes.
because I mean, if it's some good stuff, it may be a good thing. So, but
Yeah.
I totally feel you on that, and I'm on it a lot,
Yeah.
and not to mention like all the other little apps and stuff, I'm like, whoa,
Right?
YouTube's enough, but yeah, no, it could get
'Cause
crazy,
then it's
but
yeah, because then it's Instagram, and then, and it's this one, and it's Facebook, and it's this, da, 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 da. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah, like, I literally have lately, most recently in the last couple of months, I've been taking social media breaks.
good,
I
wow.
really have. I have, like, designated specific nights that I do not no social media at all, and I actually I feel better. I don't know why that is, but it did make a difference in how I was feeling, like, spiritually, you know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
and I get what you're saying, like, you can, like, if you're watching so much negative stuff, a lot of negative things, because, I mean, I am into the paranormal too. So it's kind of like, Matt and I do, we've gone and done investigations, and we've been a
Hmm.
part of things, and we've had things come into our lives that, you know, I've said it before on my channel. I mean, we literally have had to reach out to an occultist to help us with some of these things
Hmm.
that have come into our lives, and of no and it wasn't something we brought in. It wasn't something we went out looking for in any way, but yet we found ourselves in situations, and we needed to
Yes.
get that handled, and all of the normal stuff, people were kinda saying, "Hey, try this, do this, do this, do this," and they were not working. And we had to
Wow.
go to, like, the big guy and be like, "Okay, we need some
Hmm.
help." And it has
Yes.
helped. It has helped. So,
Y- that, and I believe I'm familiar with that case. And yeah, and once again, I'm not like pushing religion or anything. I don't knock anyone's
right.
religion or anything like that. If you like to go to church, hey, go for it. I
Mhm.
personally don't. But yeah, so all this you mentioned, yeah, you so doing a lot of the YouTube and all that, so people could get addicted. And so we're talking about spirits and these demons and stuff. And so there's, I believe, some of these addictions could be some of these things, these entities as well,
Mhm.
you know. And it could be, like I mentioned, it could be whatever, alcohol or sex,
Yep.
food, you know, it could be whatever, or the internet, you know. And so yeah, just being aware of that stuff, and just how those types of things could be found in many other aspects of life, you know. And so, and I think it like you said, it's a real thing. You experience that, and
Mhm.
these are real things. The you know, I believe the paranormal is real, you know. And you know, maybe it's not as as weird as we think. You know, people are mentioning it's more normal, right? The
Mhm.
paranormal is we just make it seem like it's something
Yep.
that it's far out, but it's maybe a lot more normal than we think, right? Um,
Yeah, I
and so
agree, I agree.
yeah, so yeah, just you know, being aware of that type of stuff. And so, and I really hope, and I personally feel that, you know, the Sasquatches are, and I can't say for all of them, but for the ones that I've experienced and the ones in my area, I believe, you know, and people have been saying it lately also. So a lot of things I repeat, I've said before, and people have you'll hear people saying it around, and I like it because it rings the bell of truth for me. That, you know, I wouldn't be here, you know, if these things were demonic and evil and
Right,
cannibalistic and you know, and
right.
they'll kidnap and all that, and which I believe they have, you know, possibly have done in cases. And
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know, you know. And yeah, I wonder about all that, and just trying to figure all that out, you know. And so I go out there, I get out there, and I like to try to find out for myself. So even right
Yeah.
now, being in the city, I'm not able to get in the woods as much. But there's a lot of haunted places here. I'm in Los Angeles at the moment, and like I said, I'm not a full-on paranormal
Mhm.
investigator, but I've always been curious about a lot of these places when I was young. And so I'm able to check these places out now. And so I've gone to some of these spots and you know, check it out, document with my camera, and
Right,
hey, if
right.
something happens, something happens. But for the most part, it's just like, you know, being able to touch ground, be there
Mhm.
and experience. I'm all about that, you know. I love traveling, want to be
Right.
able to do more of that. And I'm sure you do too. I'm sure
Oh, I
there's a lot
want
of
to so
places
bad.
you'd like to go.
I think I have the longest bucket list.
Hey, well, keep adding to that. Keep adding to that,
I'm
because
just
you can
adding
make
to
it
it.
happen. You're making
I
it
am.
happen.
I gotta have my goals. I gotta have my goals, right? I mean, I'm gonna like I want this year, I definitely this year I want to go up to Gatlinburg to the the conference that's up there. I'd love
Okay,
to go
yeah,
up there and do the conference thing, but actually also to go do some camping for a couple of days and like just I need it. I need it. I need
for
it.
sure, for
You know what I
sure.
mean?
And
Like I wish I had more time off to be able to go and do these kinds of things, you know?
time and the money, right?
Exactly,
Hey,
exactly.
you know,
Need that
and I
money.
know, yes, and it's the thing, and I know, like, for people, it's like, you know, people get weird with money and stuff, but we need money. Money's good, you know. People, yeah, money's the root of all the, you know, perspective.
And that's right,
M-
perspective.
Hey, not for me. You know, money's great, and keep
Yeah.
it coming because I need it, and I love it. But yeah, to be able to go do stuff, man, I want to be able to, you
Yeah.
know, get out there and go check out
Well,
these spots. And
you've actually been to a couple of places actually, but one of them that's on my bucket list, I would love to go to Bluff Creek. Tell me
hey, well,
about that. Tell me about
and
it. Tell me about that
yeah,
experience.
so anytime you want, and yeah, so that's a whole trip in itself. So you've probably heard, I'm from Southern California originally, but
Mhm.
ended up moving to Northern California a little more than 10 years ago, and I had been going up there for years before that, and eventually ended up staying just because it's so beautiful up there. I love it so much. And so yeah, you know, planted my roots up there, and then eventually found out that Bluff Creek, you know, and that whole situation was happened here in the county, and I was like, "What?"
You're like, "And it's right here."
Right here, you know. And so eventually, it manifested that I got there, and from there just started meeting a lot of the people that go there,
Mhm.
and other locals around there. And man, it's just epic when you go up there. And if it's on your list, let's make it happen. We could totally make it happen. You just gotta just do it like Nike, you know. And
Yes,
uh,
just
and
do
I'm
it.
all about that.
We'll take
Jessica,
Jessica
salute.
with us. We'll take Jessica with us. She wants to go on a
Definitely
trip. We'll take
bring
Jessica with us.
bring Connor and Matt as well.
Yes.
And
Can't
we could
go
totally
anywhere
make that
without
happen.
you can't I can't go anywhere without my next gen guys, you know? I can't go anywhere without them.
Yeah, and I could totally see it. I mean, I could see it happening right now.
That'd be
And like I'm
great.
saying, if you're for real about it, let's do it. And if we're in that area, there's a couple other areas that we should definitely hit. Because if you're in Bluff, if you're at Bluff Creek, you might as well go to Mount Shasta, which is not too far from there. And then you could head up to Southern Oregon, where
That
I'm
is
I
on
also
my
got a
list.
place, and there's some spots around there that are some epic spots that you definitely need to do if you're in the area. And I got you.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds like a good deal to
Cool,
me.
cool.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
know, like it's like those places are just so iconic, right? For Sasquatch, for just anything weird, strange, UFOs, right?
Hmm.
Like a
Oh yeah.
lot of like lights and crafts and experiences and missing time. And I've had my own missing time. Jessica
Wow.
knows all about that.
Hmm. I speaking of missing time, I've never really, I mean, there's been a couple times where I've experienced something like that, but I was partying, so that was maybe due to something else. But there was one time where I was up in the hills,
Mhm.
and I did have, we're off grid there, but we did have like internet service, which was pretty cool. And one time I was with this one investigator. He's from Oklahoma, and he actually had Swamp Dweller on.
Uh-huh.
And I know he's out your way, right? Florida, up in the house.
I
There's a
think
lot of
so, yeah.
people. Florida's hot right now, man. You guys are hot out there. A
It
lot of
is.
investigators, a lot of stuff coming out of Florida. But anyway, so we're in like a private chat, and it was like 2, 3 in the morning, and I don't know what happened, but I guess I blacked out, and then came to, and Swamp and the other guy are still on talking, and I was like, what the hell just happened, you know? And then this is a place where I was having activity, the orbs and all, you know, weird stuff was going
Wow.
on outside of the house, you know, nothing really weird inside. But I always thought like that was kind of funny. I mean, I could have just passed out, who knows, but that was a little weird.
It felt, let me tell you, it felt so strange, like, when I had this missing time, like, it felt like, and I know what you're talking about, like, okay, in my younger days, yes, have I gone, gone out, drank a little much, and then woke up going, "What happened last night? Like, what did I do, and how did I make it home?" And, you're like,
Yeah.
What, where?" That's what it felt like. Like, literally, Jessica and I were just kinda like, "Okay, what" I mean, because
Wow.
there's, like, something happened. Something happened in that time frame, but no recollection. I mean, like, your mind just gets, like, wiped. It's like it was
Mind
the
erase.
craziest thing. It was a
Weird.
little
That's and I
it's
could totally
scary.
I totally feel you. Like what you're explaining, I get what you mean. And but I mean, how weird and it kind of scary. I don't know how you feel about it, but it's a little scary.
It is a little
Um
scary.
yeah, and what could it have been? You know, hopefully
Yeah.
it was something good.
Yeah. And then I have Amber, like, I love her, but it was like the whole weekend she kept like messaging me all these things and stuff. And now it was like she was like, "I see this and I see that and I see this and I see." She's like, "Be careful," and da 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 da. And I'm just like, okay, now I'm super paranoid at this point. I'm like, okay. You know?
Oh yeah, and I remember hearing about that, and yeah, no, Amber, she's very aware of things. You know, it's a big shout out to
Yeah,
her and what
she's
she
dead
does,
on.
and she'd be fun to hook up with too. You know,
Oh my
um,
gosh, yes. That is also somewhere I need to go this year too. I'm gonna go and spend a little time with
hmm
her, and And I do want to get back together with Miss Jessica. I'm really hoping Mr. Shane from Ozark Mountain Sasquatch
Hey.
is maybe going to do another camp out later in the year. That would be good too. I couldn't make it to the one this month. I couldn't make it there. Like it was like between work and some other commitments, and I'm like,
Hmm.
I couldn't make the timing work out for me.
Oh yeah, and
So
believe me, there's a
I'm
lot of things.
hoping.
There's a lot of things that I wish I could go to, and I know. I guess what is it? I hear the Ocala Bigfoot Fest is going to be coming up
Yeah,
this
the
year, right?
Ocala.
I
Yep,
hear
it's
that.
coming up next month. Yep.
Oh my God, it's next month. You see, and that sounds like super fun, and I would like to go. And I know a lot of guys that are into all this, and they're
Uh-huh.
they're well-known names, but they just
Mhm.
don't put themselves out there, and they're not into the conferences. and
Right.
and I get that. I respect it. Everyone has their thoughts and vibes about everything, and
You know
that's
what
another thing.
though?
People just don't let those thoughts and people's opinions get
Yeah,
to your head.
but you
Do
know what
your
though?
own.
Here's the thing. This is my opinion. I'm not telling anybody to do anything with their own life. I'm just saying this is me. I like to go to the conferences because I like to fellowship with everybody. I don't
Yeah.
feel like a weirdo. I don't feel like I'm strange. I don't feel out of place. I feel like I can say anything, talk about anything. Nobody's going to judge me. And it's just all fellowship like the whole weekend. And that's what it's about for me because you know what? Not for nothing, but all these big name guys, I can go to just about anybody's YouTube channel and I can see and watch almost every and hear them talk about the same things they're going to talk about on the stage. So for $25, I get to fellowship and have fun with everybody. So
So you're going.
I'm going, yep, I'll
All
be
right,
there.
I'm
Matt,
coming over,
actually,
Marty.
Matt, let's see. So Outcast Paranormal, Matt is a part of Outcast Paranormal now. Everybody, please go check
Wow.
out their podcast. I know it's a little it's a lot, but I'm telling you guys, it's funny. It's great. It is not scripted. It is a lot of fun, and I really think everybody would like it. Okay, sorry for the commercial. Um, so Matt will be on the speaking at the round table. Stacy Brown will be speaking at the round table, and then
Ooh,
RPG, of
Stacy.
course. Yeah, Mr. Stacy Brown. And then RPG is the MC again this year. So it's kind of like 3 out of the 4, Outcast Paranormal people are gonna be a part of the conference. So it's
Wow.
exciting. So, yeah, and they're
Cool,
gonna
cool,
have a
cool.
booth and, there's a lot of people coming. There's so many people coming to this one as far as, like,
Yes.
yeah, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. So,
Even Politis. I know
yeah.
once again, people, you mention a name and they're like,
Right,
but
right,
whatever, he's gonna be there and that's gonna be
right.
rad. Um, yeah, so I'm coming over, Marty.
Come! I have a spare bedroom. Come
All
on.
right.
So does
There-
Matt, between me and Matt, yeah, man, come, dude, let's
Okay,
go.
so because there's a chance, you never know. Because I'm telling you, in this life, things just happen, and I love when they happen like that. And
Yep.
you
I
just
got a
might pop
spare
up.
bedroom with its own bathroom, so you wanna come, then you come, and then you can ride up with me and Matt and come back with me and Matt.
Sounds good. And see, that's how it is for me with a lot of places. So I feel like I have places everywhere. So in Shasta, because I have friends all over. So I have my friend in Shasta that has property, or in certain parts of and then their home is my home. So it's like, oh yeah, that's my place. I'm going home there or going home here. So I got my place in Florida.
That's right. Come on down.
And
Come
likewise,
surf
you
some
got
beaches.
and likewise, you got your place in Humboldt, LA, and in Oregon.
Alright, I'm there.
Cool.
Let's talk about Humboldt a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I know that there are a lot of Sasquatch sightings. I know that there's a lot of activity there, but there's
Yes.
also some other stuff there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you do
So
you do you think that that is an attractant to Sounds
We
cool.
wonder, you know, and we always joke around about it and stuff.
Mhm.
And but I do believe there is some seriousness to it. I forget what tribe it was. Maybe someone out in chat could help us out. But I've heard mention of chokeweed, and
Okay.
somehow it being and that's another term for cannabis, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And how this might be up in the Pacific Northwest too, maybe in the Canada area, where somehow the chokeweed was involved with the Sasquatch people. And so
Okay.
where there was something there, and I should probably know, right? But I do know this little bit, and I will tap back into it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff where I get into and it's like I kind of forget about, and it's like, oh yeah, I gotta tap back into, I'll tap
Yeah.
back into it and dive into the stuff. But yeah, so there's that connection. But yeah, who knows? I do wonder, and I've heard people mention certain things like them having them on their property and stuff like that. And I've
Mhm.
claimed to that we had activity because I had my first full body sighting on our property. So people do mention about activity on their properties, and of course, there's several
Shane said
tribes
Shane
in.
says they eat it.
Yeah,
So,
you see, and just like
interesting.
you've heard people mention about offerings of tobacco as well. So
Mhm.
there's
Yes, we
something
do
that
do that.
yeah, I do believe, and there's not only with the Sasquatch people, but offerings of tobacco to other elementals and other
Mhm.
spirits and stuff like
Yep.
that, right? And even the consumption of tobacco. Um, and so yeah, there's native tribes in Humboldt, and that whole history is pretty dark, as well. But there's tribes around, and the Hoopa Reservation, I believe, is the biggest reservation, Native American
Mhm.
reservation in California, if I'm not mistaken. Got to fact check that too. Um, and so there's that whole vibe there of the native vibe, and then you have this whole cannabis culture, and it's changed a lot. At first it was like the hippies that had moved up from San Francisco after the whole hippie movement and all that. A lot of those people had moved up to those areas, to Northern California, and started the back to the land movement, homesteading, and
Right.
um just living off the fat of the land and stuff, and so the kids of those people are the like some of the growers that are there now, so they still have that culture in them. But
Mhm.
at the same time, things change and evolve, and so it's like a whole new vibe, and things have kind of changed as well with the legalization also,
Right,
because
I was
a
just
lot
gonna
of
ask
those.
you about that because I
Yeah,
would
a
think
lot.
that has changed the culture there a little bit, I would think.
Oh yeah, quite a bit actually. A lot of people actually moved from the area
Mhm.
because of just bigger people from out of state with big money just came in and started buying up land, and
Wow.
just kind of just changed things, which is pretty sad. But I feel like it's still there. It's still there. We're holding strong. People are holding
So
strong, and
So what is that area like? Like what is it about that particular area? Like is it a lot of mountains? Is it a lot like what's it like that attracts or would be able to be
hmm.
really good for the Sasquatch to be there? Like what
Oh, okay,
is there
yeah.
a lot of water?
So
Is there a lot of
yes, according to some statistics, well, off the bat, I would think just who wouldn't want to be around those beautiful redwoods, you know?
true, so true.
Yeah, and the thing is that you have the forest meets the ocean right there, so it's just like this weird, beautiful dynamic of nature,
Mm,
and so yeah, I think the trees. There's something about trees and the Sasquatches, and even in the deserts, there's deserts have their
mhm,
own trees. Out here, we have the Joshua trees, and there's
mhm.
something about plants and these environments and these beings, I think. And so one thing, the trees for sure, the ocean, and we have like 6 rivers, I believe, in the county. And so yeah, a lot of water. And so in the northern part of the county, I guess the precipitation is really high, especially in like the Hoopa area as well,
Mhm.
especially on the coast. The Hoopa, I mean, is more inland, but they do get quite a bit of water. But on towards the coast, it's it's a rainforest, and
So what kind of like food sources are there? Is it like
Oh,
deer and like
hmm
what all kind of
yeah, we have, I mean, deer galore. There's, your typical, there's your bear, your black bears, and especially in the Bluff Creek area, I say it's infested. And, people know who go around there. You usually see a bear every time. But yeah, no, there's all types, and then there's certain areas with elk. So we have elk in the
Okay.
area. And I mean, you name it, fish. The ocean is
Yeah.
right there. Our,
Right.
our rivers we're known for their salmon and all that. Steelhead. Yeah, you're talking
So
and
it's prime
berries
habitat.
galore.
Prime
Oh
habitat.
man, perfect. It's perfect. And so yeah, you could see why they would be there. But I've heard the
Mhm.
correlation between uh, areas that have a lot of precipitation and these clusters of where these sightings and reports are. And who knows, I mean, it could be true, and a lot of that's in the Pacific Northwest, but you see out east has a lot of sightings as well. I mean, it's all over the place, so it makes you wonder. And then in Southern
Right.
California we have a lot of reports of them being in the deserts.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly do believe that they're everywhere. I really do. I mean, I just don't feel like, a lot of people are still not on board with the fact that Florida is number 3 in
Hmm.
sighting reports. I mean, 3, number
Yes,
3.
yes,
So
and
you're
and
like, people just don't people, but everybody, they think that all we are is wall to wall people and beaches, that there's
no,
no way they could be here. It's like, no, guys, y'all don't
yeah,
know.
and,
There's
and
a
see
lot of land.
once again also, like, for me, boom, going back to the ego, I feel there's a lot of that in this field,
Yeah.
and so we think like, oh yeah, Pacific Northwest, West Coast, and yeah, Bluff
Mhm.
Creek, and this is where it's at. And no, it's happening in other places. It's happened in other places, and yeah, that footage was taken there, and it's awesome. But no, I could totally see Florida,
Yeah,
having it all over the place there. And actually, I want to touch on Tate Hieronymus, a friend of mine who
mhm.
actually goes to Bluff Creek a lot, and he's one of your Floridian boys out there.
Yeah.
And we're
He doesn't
friends.
live
And
far from me, actually, and do you
what?
know I've not even met him? Do you know I've never met him?
You see, that's funny. And I've
Isn't that
gone out with
crazy?
him several times, and we've gone out here, even in Southern California. We got to meet up and go out once to Los Padres National Forest and had some stuff going on there. And so yeah, that's funny you guys haven't met. So if I don't, I could crash at Tate's too or something, if I don't
There
stay
you
at your
go.
place. But
Well,
yeah,
maybe you can help me get connected and I could have him on the show soon, let him know I'm more than willing. I'd love to have him on the show.
no doubt. And I think
Yeah.
yesterday he just put out a premiere and out of the Florida area with Alex Pedikov
Uh-huh.
from Small Town Monsters. A shout out
Yep.
to him too. Salute
Yep.
to those boys. So you guys check that out. I posted it in my community page too. I believe it's a search for
I have
Sabe.
Yep,
And
I have Alex coming on April 4th, so he's gonna be here
wow,
on the show. So excited. Yeah, I was
cool,
happy.
cool. Yeah, no, man, that my respects to both of those guys. And it was funny because I was here at the shop the other day, and I got a phone call, and it was and I might have been on the phone watching someone on YouTube, and then it's Tate Hieronymus and Alex Pedikov calling me from the field in Florida, and they're like, "Hey, what's up, man? We're out here." Oh man, it was epic.
Oh, they're so much fun, those boys. They really
Mm.
are. They are a lot of fun. They
And you
really
see,
are.
to have stuff like that happen, Marty. I mean, I've had moments where I've had been woken up, and it's like Bobo on the phone, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to go squatching?" And it's like, "What? Yeah,
You're
let me
like,
get
"Let me
ready."
get my boots."
Oh yeah, and flying
I
out the
might not have
door.
clothes on, but I got my boots.
And so when things start happening like that, and like the invites, come on here, and so yeah, I want more of that, and I want to be able to share that with you guys, and you guys also experience the same thing. You guys get out there and do the same, and just
Mhm.
spreading those vibes, and it's what you get back. I believe in the law of attraction. uh People call it
Right.
karma also, or whatever, and yeah, I believe that's totally real. And so yeah,
Mhm.
learning to live by these laws, man, and it's good stuff.
Yes, 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 yes. Francesca says
Hey.
serendipity.
Yes, Francesca,
Yeah.
we actually were in contact by email recently. I think just the day before yesterday, I received the email from her, and we shared some
Oh.
powerful. She's been all over, and I can't wait to talk to her more. We definitely got some things in common, and man, she should jump on a show.
Okay, Francesca. Yeah, it's so great. Like, that it's that fellowship. It's that fellowship where we're just kind of like everybody's included, and it is inclusive. I know that there are some areas of our community that we seem to be a little fractured, but you know what? I have hope. I have hope. I have hope that we're going to come together. We're going to get it together. And even if we don't 100% agree on everything, because I don't think we ever should. I don't think we should ever hang around with people that only agree with everything you say 100% of the time. I don't think we should ever do that, right? It's not good. But I definitely feel like some respect is actually starting to come. I
For
do.
sure.
I
Yeah.
That's because that's I feel like what we've been kind of lacking, and I think that everyone is beginning to respect each other. You can, you know what I mean? You may not agree, or you have may have different beliefs, but you can respect me for mine and I can respect you for yours, right? And
100.
that
Yes.
is what I think is happening. I think it's happening in our
Yes.
community, and
Oh
hopefully we're
yeah.
going to heal from it all. I'm
Yeah.
so
And
looking forward to that.
I agree, and I think LIB. No, I know LIB says this. He says, "Be the change," and people say this. Be the change you want to be. And it's true. And that's why once again going back to the ego and that inner work. I think that things
Mhm.
once you start doing that inner work, things will start happening outside of you, and you start seeing
Yeah.
things, man. And so yeah, things are great, you guys. I feel, and yeah, going back, I wanted to touch more on the ego. Also, it's really weird because we're talking about behind the scenes earlier about these. My sister reminded me of taking baby steps in life, because we are talking about these moments where aren't so great, and so yeah, just dealing with our ego, or personally my ego is just like, yeah, if someone's doing something and it bothers you and you feel a certain way, yeah, you feel it, process it, and you move on, and just learn to do that, because there's a lot of stuff I was holding on to, man. There's things in my life that I didn't even realize I was holding on, and I was like, oh my goodness, are you serious? And
Oh, yeah.
just
I
being
get
able to
it.
release those things, and oh man,
Mhm.
it just feels so good, and so much better, and so yeah, if this helps anyone out there, man.
I
And
identify with that a lot. I mean, I've done a lot of shadow work, a lot, a lot, a lot, and, I've had a very, very hard life, and you know, um, I had to kind of make a choice to cut out toxic things out of my life, and
mhm.
that included some toxic people that were in my life, and I had to do that. I had to, you know, you can't it's hard, it's difficult to be positive and stay positive and in that mindset when you have toxic people that are constantly trying to undermine everything that
Oof.
you're trying to do. So you have
Mhm.
to kind of, you know when you start doing shadow work, and again, shadow work is working through our own junk, our own stuff, our own inner demons, for lack of a better term, right? It's all
Mhm.
about getting to the root of why we are the way we are and looking at it, facing it, and working through it, right? To get past it. And when I started doing that and I started realizing that there were these people in my life, it's not like in one day I just dropped everybody, but it was kind of like, because I was always, you know, giving everybody a chance, right? They got 50 chances, 100 chances, 1,000 chances, a million chances. And it was just kind of like, and it wasn't good for me because I wasn't putting up my boundaries. I would put up boundaries and then turn around and be like, oh, yeah, okay, come over the line. It's all
Mm-hmm.
good. I'll forgive you. No big deal. Go ahead. Beat me up some more, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Then I realized through all this work and therapy and facing what I needed to face in life and all of the stuff I've been through, I gotta put the boundaries up that need to be up to protect myself, spiritually, mentally, physically. And once
Mm-hmm.
those boundaries are up, me personally, I'm like, this is my boundary. If you don't respect my boundary, then I identify that person as a toxic person. And that's somebody that I don't want to interact
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I feel like when you set those boundaries, also,
with.
uh, there's a lot of those people also that won't be able to step in or near your boundaries. Also,
Yep.
some will, but there's a lot of them will just won't even be able to get in there. So,
But the
uh,
stronger, and you're right about that, because the stronger you become and you hold to your boundaries, guess what? The toxic people stop bothering you. It's true. Those toxic people are like, "Oh, I'm not gonna try her today because the last 6 times I tried her, I got
hmm
shut down, so I'm not even gonna try it." I'm telling you, that was the biggest lesson I had to learn. Set a boundary and keep it and hold tight to it.
hold it down. That's
Mhm.
that's that's awesome and powerful.
Yep.
Very powerful. Um, and yeah, you know what? I had really no idea that what like I know you mentioned we were like, oh yeah, we're kind of just gonna, but I knew we were gonna open up a portal and go down the rabbit hole. But man, this has been exciting and fun. And yeah, anytime you ever want it, because I was thinking we're gonna be like, oh, strictly it's gonna be a Bigfoot thing, and which is great because I'm there's more to that as well, and I love
Yeah.
diving into these many topics. But yeah, if you ever want to do some stuff where we show some videos and pictures and stuff, I would love to do that as
Absolutely.
well. Um,
Absolutely. Come back for a part 2 and we will do that.
for sure. I appreciate the invite. And yeah, I'm always keeping my ear to the ground on like what's going on. I'm always in people's chats and checking out
Mhm.
what's up, and yeah, some people are doing some good stuff out there. There's some good stuff.
Yep.
And then it's just, yeah, once again, I'm really excited to be here. Um, yeah, I mean, I could go each and any way here, but yeah, it's just so much that comes to mind that I want to talk about. And I always mention that, like, uh, I forget things also. Like, it's like, darn, after the show, I'll be like, oh, I should have mentioned that or this. But, but yeah, no, it's been fun, Marty. Thank you so much. And
Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you for
anytime you
sending
want to
me.
do this. But yeah, what else you got in mind?
Yeah, I there was also something else the other day that I was really interesting, that you talked about on your channel
Mhm.
about there was like a UFO connection that you had kind of made the other day.
Yeah, so
So let's
yeah,
talk about that a little bit.
yeah, cool. So recently I have a buddy of mine who I'm inside the shop now. We have a skate shop slash smoke shop, merch shop.
Mhm.
Um, and so my buddy, he's an artist, and he's out there, and he did the floors here. Very conscious guy, and he's very much into the UFO and alien stuff. And so he goes to these groups where they do sky watching, and he invited me to one. And he actually didn't go to this one, and I went to this particular one. It was close to a park here,
Mhm.
and no one showed up to that one. And I was thinking, like, what's going on? Did everyone get abducted or what happened here?
You're
no
like,
no
nobody's
one no
here.
one no one showed up. uh So I just skywatched a little and not much happened. But anyway, the few weeks later, got invited to another one, and it was actually even closer to where I was staying. And eventually people showed up, and not much happened. We did the sky watching. I did a little live stream, and then after I was going through the video, the live stream, we noticed in some of the footage, there's this part where I was kind of like panning out towards the mountains, and this object pops out and darts around and like zooms back out, and it was the weirdest thing. And so, but it is the color of a lens, of the lens, like the typical lens flares.
Mhm.
So we're not sure if it's lens flare or not, you know. And the thing is that when it popped up, it was going right as the car was going. So it could be that, you know, it reflected off the car or whatnot. I don't know. But if there's someone out there who could look into the video, I mean, I'd definitely love to get it checked out. But so anyway, at that gathering, I met this one gentleman, Alejandro, and I forget his last name, but his YouTube channel is Luces en el Cielo, I believe, which is lights in the sky, and he's from Anaheim. And I think I posted his stuff on my community. Anyway,
Oh,
so I met him there, and you know, he had some awesome goggles that he was using, some nice gear, and I guess he goes to these things, and they do C5. We did a little meditation also. Nothing much happened, but that video did pop up there. Anyway, there's another video that I had taken outside of the shop here where this helicopter, military helicopter, was going by. And once again, I recorded it. And after I noticed this one object that was like darting behind the helicopter. And so I kind of made a little video out of that, posted it. And then I sent it to some buddies of ours in Portugal who do sky watching and UFO and stuff. And he did
mhm.
some zooming in and looked into it. And we noticed that the object that was darting behind the helicopter seemed pretty metallic. It had like a metallic reflection. And it's this weird little dot like shape. It's very tiny, but it was super fast. Like you can't see it with the eye. I had to slow it
Huh.
down.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, and I don't think it was. I mean, it could have a bug comes to mind, a bird, of course, but I
Mhm.
don't. It wasn't moving like that or anything. And anyway, so I'm not the best at like
Wow.
putting videos together. Like I'm trying on learning and using different little things to try to like get my point across. Like here, you know, and without
Yep.
using the red arrows and stuff. Although
I
if
got it.
need be,
I'm
I will.
learning too.
But
I'm learning
anyway, so that
too.
happened right here out of the outside the shop. And so I'm watching my buddy's channel the other night, and he's doing a live stream showing his CE5 experience in Chino Hills, California. And so I'm in
Mm.
chat, and then he also showed this little clip of a video of a possible UFO, and he's on the Highway 5, headed southbound, and this object's right above the freeway sign. And the freeway sign, when I read the freeway sign, it said Dittman, and I was like, "What Dittman?" Because Dittman's right here. And I'm like, and the 5 freeway is right here next to the shop. And then eventually I seen another freeway sign, and it said Indiana, which is right here. I'm right in between Dittman and Indiana. So
That's
he
so
caught that
funny.
footage right here on the highway, which is right next to the shop. And
Crazy.
right next to the shop is where I got that weird footage of this object behind the helicopter. And I was just like, wow. And so I tagged him on, and he's like, man, there's no coincidences.
That's crazy.
And so he invited me to the next meeting. Hopefully I could make it, and we'll see. But yeah, just I love, you know, those connections like that, you guys.
Mhm.
And we could all do it, you know. It's all happening, and it's just a matter of being aware and then, you know, hooking up and
It's
sharing
so
stuff.
true. I never really pay attention during the day because I'm in my car a lot, right? And when I'm going from property to property, and about 3 weeks ago, and I don't know if Matt's still in here or not. I totally forgot to even tell Matt about this until we were talking about this. So I was coming down. I was coming home from work, and I'm on the turnpike, and it's a highway that the turnpike literally on each side of the turnpike down here in South Florida. It's like houses, you know, communities, associations, condos, whatever, townhouses on both sides, right? It's pretty populated. So I'm coming up on an area, and I don't even know what made me look up. And I just happened to kind of just glance up. I looked up. The When I first saw it, I thought it was a bird, and it was kind of hovering like right around like where the power lines were, right? So
Mm.
kind of pretty low. So I'm thinking at first I thought, okay, well maybe, maybe it's an osprey. Maybe, I knew it wasn't like just a regular I mean, I knew it was bigger than, it had to be like the size of like a hawk, right? So I'm looking at this thing and then I'm kind of in some not bumper to bumper traffic, but it was slow going, right? Looking at this thing and all of a sudden it was like it didn't look like a bird anymore. It was like the things that I thought I saw that were moving like wings. It looked all of a sudden like a teardrop shape. It was like this round, like a round ball, and then it came to this like point at the back. But it
Wow.
was clearly solid, like metal, like clearly
Mm.
solid metal. And it was like I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, as I'm coming up on it, now I'm coming up on it and I'm like, what?
Wow.
Gone. It just went
Hmm.
boom and
Wow.
just went west, straight
Hmm.
west, so fast. Have no idea where it went. Just it was gone. I was like, "What
Whoa.
the heck?"
I
And it
love it,
was
and a
yeah,
lot, a
yeah,
lot stuff like that has happened to me where I see, and I'm sure a lot of people where you see stuff and you're just not sure what the hell, or it just happens and
yeah,
you're not able to document or whatever, and that's that. But it's happening for sure, and whether it's ours or
yeah.
some
I
other,
don't know.
it's happening.
I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't
and
know. It's weird. Like, so there are a lot. And here's the thing, like, is it because more things are happening, more activity, or is it that more and more people are becoming aware and more people are sharing experiences, so more and more reports are happening. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think a all of the above.
yeah.
Oh man. And you know what? So yeah, keep your eyes peeled to the skies as well. Um, I
Dark
wanted to
Woods.
mention
Dark Woods says he knows what that is. Please tell me, Dark Woods. Give me a call
salute
later
Dark
or text
Woods.
me.
I wanted to mention there's this documentary, there's this I was watching this guy on YouTube that has nothing to do with any of this stuff, but was interesting information. But he was showing some clips, some old Disney clips, and they were getting into the old property in Orlando,
Mhm.
right? And these clips were like from the late 60s or 70s. It was really old. And anyway, so they were talking about the property, and then there was a part where they mentioned about the skunk ape. Okay.
Really?
And seriously, and it was like a Disney documentary. And I was like, what the hell? And I was trying to like figure out how to at the time. I don't even think I knew this was recently, a few months ago, but I just didn't know how to capture it. And I try to go back to find the clip. I haven't been able to find. I've been digging for this stuff and haven't been able to find it, so I could share that little soundbite with you guys. But yeah,
That'd be
super
great.
interesting. Yeah. So
Yeah,
if anyone out there,
I actually had a conversation, brief as it was brief, but I actually had a conversation with an FWC officer, right? Florida Fish and Wildlife, and
okay,
I had a conversation with this guy. And I was kinda like, I'm like, "So tell me, like, you ever get any Bigfoot reports? You ever get anybody ever call and tell you weird shit?" You know?
uh-huh.
And he's like he goes, "Yeah, no, just one." He goes, "I've been" no, first I asked him how long he's been doing it, how long he's been an officer, and he told me, like, going on 8 years. So I said, "Well, have you ever had anybody call you weird stuff?" He says he goes, "Only once." He goes, I a guy called me out and he said that something was touching him through the tent and, and growling and grunting at him, and the guy was terrified, so he called me. So I'm like, "Okay, well, did you find anything? Like, did you see footprints? Did you see?" And he's like, "No, I didn't find a thing. I looked everywhere. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see any evidence of anything." And he's like I said, "Well, what happened to the guy?" He goes, "Well, he asked me to stay there while he packed up his stuff and he left." I said, "Oh, okay." And I said, So I said to him, I said, well, let me ask you this. I said, why do you think the state of Florida has it in their pamphlets that we're not allowed to hunt skunk apes? And
Ah.
he says, what do you mean? And I said, well, the pamphlet, the FWC pamphlet for the lower Swanee, it says it in there. And he goes,
Wow.
he goes, what? I mean, he was totally like, he had no clue. Like, I could tell he wasn't lying. It was like his responses to me were like, well, wait, what are you talking about? And I'm like, yeah, under the hog section. Go take a look at it. Go read it. And go read what it says. And he goes, oh, it must have been an old one. I go, nope. I says, because I have a copy of the 2324 version and it's in there. And he's like, I didn't know that. And he goes, and that's one of my areas that I patrol. And I'm like, oh,
Wow.
I guess you better pay attention to your pamphlets, you know? But I
Trip out.
placed a seed, right? I placed a seed in there, made him think about it. So, you never
A seed,
know.
a seed that should have been sprouted and growing already.
That's
Wow, that's
true,
interesting.
right? But, you never know though, if he's only been on the job for 8 years, because they are kind of on solo, they are kind of solo, right? They're not
Hmm.
really when they're driving around and they're in areas and whatever they're patrolling, it's not like police officers where they're all over.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I planted a seed, so we'll
Oh, I
see.
think you did.
I don't know. But you know what? I had that opportunity. I took it and I just ran with it. I'm like, what's the worst he can say? I'm crazy and
Yeah.
not answer me or walk away or you know what I mean? I'm like, all right,
Oh yeah.
whatever.
No, I've done it when I get the chance to do it, and I could do it like respectfully. I've asked park rangers and stuff,
You
or
got to.
law enforcement,
Mhm.
um, and actually, when we do go to the Bluff Creek area, usually when we go, we have a retired ex, yeah, he's ex park ranger for Humboldt, uh, Robert Leiterman, who's very knowledgeable and good with
I'll,
maps and has a book out. So yeah, and you could pick his brain about stuff
I'll
and
bet that guy has seen a lot of stuff.
oh yeah,
Holy cow. Wow.
so yeah.
This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much. I don't know how long your shows go, but it looks like we're at 107.
Yeah, we are at 107.
Cool.
Been trying to keep it right in about 115 because I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to give my back a break. So I'm trying to not like because it hurts if I sit for really, really long periods of time.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I was
I'm
telling you about my little back
yeah,
issues and whatnot, but healing vibes to you, Marty.
thank you.
Much
Same to
love and
you.
light to you and everyone in chat and whoever's hearing this. You guys
Yes.
be safe, take care, and one love.
Yes. Let me just say goodnight to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You hang out for just a few minutes backstage. All right, hold on. Wasn't that great, guys? That was so much fun. I love those kind of interviews when things just kind of like go with the flow, right? You just go with the flow. And it was wonderful that Brown Dwarf could be with us tonight. I did have to cancel on him once before, and when I was really having a lot of pain, and he was so sweet to reschedule with me. And thank you guys for being here. Next week, definitely be back. Oh my goodness, I just saw Jay Bachoshin will be here next week. The link to the show is already up for Jay Bachoshin's show next week. He's coming back. That's going to be fun. Um, don't forget, please go and check out Outcast Paranormal. Episode number 1 of the podcast is up now, and episode number 2 will be this week. You do not want to miss this week's episode. So definitely head over there and check it out. And that's pretty much it for me. I did have an interview on typical skeptic podcast. I did an interview with Robert over there last weekend. So you can go and see me over there. It was a wonderful interview. And then I was also on DA Roberts, DA Ex Machina, and podcast. So I was on there Saturday night as well. I did a double header Saturday. So you can check me out over there as well. Don't forget, I am still on Rumble. I'm trying to get some followers. So if you guys want to go follow me on Rumble, I would appreciate it. I am going to start putting some content on Rumble and only on Rumble. So it will be Rumble exclusive type stuff. So go follow me over there too. I greatly appreciate it. Lots of love, lots of positivity. Do something positive this week. Do it, guys. Let's make it happen. Positivity. Love you guys. See you next week.